Yeah, I
And so,
wonder, that's a key point I think we want to talk about in this session is this whole idea is we can no longer actually disagree and be friends, right? We got to be the same political party, the same background, the same agreement on all of these issues. Whereas in reality, we ought to. I'm not saying you have to agree with. So I'm trying to say is you don't have to convince everyone that you're right
right.
in order to have a meaningful dialogue,
But
do
see,
you?
that's the point. That's the point. Is so let me we only have a few minutes because we said we have to be disciplined, and so we'll do these in parts.
You and I being disciplined, that's a whole nother conversation.
We don't agree on that.
we, don't, we don't agree with the producer of this show is
That's
telling
right.
us what we got to
They
do.
told me they're gonna cut us off. But let me give a point. Let's use that as a starting point, and we'll see how far we can take that on this segment. You mentioned a word, and I want to talk about that for a moment, and that is right. And so there's a right and there's a wrong, and then some people may say, well, there's no such thing as right and wrong. So here's the thought that I try and challenge us with. Um, everybody. So I'm going to do this very slow. Everybody can be wrong, but not everybody can be right. So you have a position, I have a position. You know what? We both could be wrong. Now, we both are sitting there saying, and I wanted people to hear this. We may both say that we're right. So you may say that the bridge is out, and I'm right, and I'm going to say the bridge is not out, and I'm right. Well, eventually, that's going to get proven which one of us is right, because both of us cannot be
That's correct.
right. Those are
That's
two
correct.
diametrically opposing positions. One person said the light's on, the other person said the light's off. So there's two diametrically opposing positions. Two, and I know people say, well, two things could be true at the same time, and they can be, but it doesn't mean that it's truth. So, but in our society, where the reason why I try and challenge people that the real issue to help us to be able to converse and to live and not to be struggling and fighting over what's going on in our society and all of the topics that we're having to wrestle with is we could all be wrong. It
Exactly.
is
We could be
possible
wrong.
that you're
Right.
wrong and I'm wrong. And so the only thing where I try and get to, now I know that doesn't hold true in marriage.
Yeah. Well, no comment on that.
That's the distinct.
We'll both get thrown off this podcast. Go down
That's
that
why I'm on
road.
the podcast alone.
You know, you know something? In all the years we've been doing stuff together, there's never been one person that asked us for marital
Yeah,
advice.
well, there's a reason why. Because I'm always wrong.
That's
but,
right. No,
but
but your point is, that I like the point, and that comes out in the book. Again, I'm kind of pushing the book because I just love it, but it's discussion points, and that fact that we could both be wrong, um, and it is such an issue for me. Is we're never going to find out if we don't have a conversation, and that's where it really bothers me about what's going on. It's almost like we can't have a discussion. We can't discuss it. We can't get at the truth, which is what we should be thinking about. What's true, not only what's true in the philosophical sense, but what's true for our country, what's true for our families, what's true for our young people, all of this. We ought to have these conversations because the only way we're ever going to come to a consensus about what we need to do going forward is if we talk to each other.
right,
We
right.
can't be enemies forever.